Okay, it is the 2nd of January 2026, and we're back for another video. I really want to make this about protecting your sealed investment. And here is a storing sealed guide or reminder for myself, and hopefully for you watching as well to remember coming into 2026. Obviously, I'm based here in Vietnam, and most of my collections are kept in Australia. I just only keep my loose packs and the ones that are opened here in Vietnam. But all my sealed and stored collection are in Australia at the moment. Most of those boxes are in a giant container that I've just purchased from Kmart, and I have most of them in there, and they're in a storage unit right now. So these are some of the things I'm concerned about because I don't have any of this that you might want to start to consider as well. The first thing is acrylic cases. So acrylic cases are very protective of your elite trainer boxes or your figure collection boxes, and I don't have any. So this is something I'm going to look into having, because I do have up to 4 ETBs, but none of them have acrylic cases. So this is something I got to get onto to you. But it's important. It's important to protect that shrink wrap so it doesn't wear and tear. Because if you find that your ETB is damaged or has some sort of tear or is even open, the price of that sealed product is going to be far less than what it's actually valued. And I've noticed that through eBay sales and whatnot. They definitely go for a lot less if you're trying to move them forwards in the future. So acrylic cases is the first thing that I got to get onto to protect and store my ETBs. The next thing is temperature. In Melbourne right now, we're going through the summer, so it's going to be a lot hotter, and Melbourne's heat is very dry. So we've got to remember that these Pokemon boxes are made up of paper and they're made up of glue. So if the environment isn't comfortable, it's not going to be comfortable for the boxes as well. So, humidity is really a silent killer, just like inflation is. It can really warp the plastic and can really warp the cards inside as well. So something to consider here in Vietnam, where I'm actually protecting the cards. And I'll talk about cards and singles a little bit later, but here I want to focus on boxes. But the humidity will affect the boxes as well. So keep it stored in a cool, dry place that's avoiding things like garages or attics that's really going to heat up during the summer. The next thing is keeping them in a dark room. So treat it like it's a vampire and put it in a dark room, because the UV is going to affect the lighting on these boxes. So make sure you've got those acrylic to protect it from all those other aspects, but also from the lights, because long-term exposure to lights, if you zoom out and think within the 1 year, 5 year, or 10 year, the light is going to wear and tear these cards, because they are eventually made up of cardboard, right? So it's really dangerous. Really keep like a dark room strategy and make sure it is there is minimal exposure to that light. The next one is storage space and the physical compartment or the physical placement of these boxes. So right now I have them in storage boxes and that I keep in there, and eventually these storage boxes will need to be shifted over. So I never store these sealed boxes directly onto floors. Make sure they're actually in a box, and then make sure they're actually stacked up, not too low to avoid kind of any moisture, but not too high as well. These can put pressure if the boxes ever fall, and they could they could always have the opportunity to have some dents in it. So be mindful of them. So if you're living in the cold, you want to watch out for this kind of dryness and making sure the cardboard doesn't become brittle. So to wrap up and summarize, make sure that I have some form of protection, hard case cover, which is the acrylic to protect the UV, which is important, to monitor its temperature overall, and make sure that the plastic shrink isn't shrinking, and make sure I have a good storage unit to make sure it is well positioned and placed, never on the floor and never too high. And the next thing is making sure that it's placed in a dark room to protect it from the natural lighting. Okay, so make sure you treat these boxes well, and they will repay you in the long term. If you don't look after these boxes now, you're going to find it's really hard to move, or you're going to be moving it at a discounted price, which is not what you're after. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll speak to you in the next video. Okay, So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll speak to you in the next one.